righty, good afternoon, everyone. It is our Black Film Challenge recap, and we are excited. Yeah, week 3. Yes, it is week 3. I'm Carlotta Hurt out of Washington, D.C., and I am joined by the lovely and talented Catherine.
Hi. I am Kat Street here, joining you from sunny Los Angeles, California.
Yay. All right, and then we are also very honored to have 2 amazing women join us today to just share their thoughts about what happened this week with the Black Film Challenge, as well as share their works and what they have going on in this space we're in. And I am not going to butcher anybody's name, so I'm because I'm working on not doing that these days. So I'm sorry, Cass. I'll do the short version. She is here from Atlanta. She's a writer, director, producer, mom, wife, just amazing person all around. And we also have Miss
Tchaiko,
who's also an amazing director, filmmaker, producer, and new mom. Hey, little baby.
I know, this baby's so cute.
Best production ever, as they say. And just glad to have them both here with us. So we're just gonna jump right in.
Yeah,
and
thanks for coming. We're so glad to have you.
Thanks.
Welcome to this challenge recap.
All right.
All right. So we can talk a little bit, just tell everybody, we'll start with you, Cass, like what you do, where you're based out of, like what you're currently working on and what you have in the works.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Carlotta, for inviting me. I am Cass, Sigers-Beedles. I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I co-own a company, Nina Holiday Entertainment, with my producing partner, Terry J. Vaughn. And we make movies. We're like female movie makers. We do film, we write, we produce, we direct. We put she acts, I do not act. We mentor. We're moms. We're like kind of the whole, we're everywhere. We most recently, Terry, we do a lot of holiday movies. I haven't done one this year, but I know Terry had a few holiday movies out this year in the fall. I most recently directed a thriller called Mediator, which just won the best thriller at the Toronto Women's Film Festival. And we are hoping, we're in the process now of pitching and selling. So, that's like the other side of the business. And I'm currently writing a holiday dance movie for Hallmark that'll be out this year.
Nice.
2021. So.
Ooh, that's dope.
And then like dance thriller, dance break dance.
It's not. It's ballet. It's like a twist on the Nutcracker.
Okay.
Yes. I was a ballerina. That's why I went to school of the arts. I was a dancer. I was a ballerina and loved it. And I've always wanted to do a dance movie. I love dance movies. So now I'm doing a dance holiday movie. So we'll see what that translates to into the future. Who knows?
Cool. It's amazing.
And she also found Stormy Reed. Like she's the person that found Stormy Reed.
I didn't find her. Okay, so Storm Reed was her first movie. Was my first movie. But her, she was into acting and she did do a role in our movie. Her mom and I remain close. I love Storm. I definitely can't say I found her because she was already acting, but I can say I put her in her first movie. That I can say.
Awesome. So you're all around just a badass. Okay.
I'll try. Hey, aren't we all in our own way? Trying to figure it out.
We're all just stumbling through it.
It always looks better. Like I tell people all the time, I'm stumbling through. I'm trying to figure it out. Like the resume is great, but as you evolve, and the business evolves and you evolve, you're always figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good to know. Tchaiko, thank you for coming.
Sorry, it's just like I'm figuring out how to be a mother and deal with pandemic and childcare. Oh my computer just froze. And also figuring out how to be backlit there. Exactly. Oh.
Don't feel bad. I had to bribe my child of the room to not say anything, so I understand.
Usually daddy watches, but we're having it happens sometimes. So I have to keep looking down to make sure he's not falling off of things. But I am pulling on my toe now. I'm Tchaiko, still really backlit. The computer, sometimes it works in this room. Anyway, this is what I'm working on, the new project. You can see all the writing notes behind me.
Nice.
I'm a filmmaker. Solace is my first feature film. It's a coming of age story about a girl who moves in with her grandmother, who's played by Lynn Whitfield, after her dad dies, and she has to navigate being in a strange environment, making new friends, and then discover that she has an eating disorder. And so the film has Hopolide Wilson in it, Lynn Whitfield, Glenn Turman, Luke Rampersad, and Chelsea Tavares, who is in, Chelsea just had a baby as well. Chelsea's in the CW, and Hope is in a bunch of things, Fosters, and can't remember right now because the baby is like climbing all over the place. Okay.
And this is life. I love it.
This is, you know what, this is great because we're talking to two women who are, you know, fantastic filmmakers in your own right, and also mothers. And that's something that I, of course, am very curious about. I'm sure Carletta, I mean, you're in it as well. Like, I'm the only one who's just like, I ain't got no kids, but I also like, I'm also like wondering, I'm also curious how you balance it too, or if how you're learning to balance the two things.
And Cass is a gymnast. She's like a professional gymnastic person over there.
Yeah, my daughter is. My daughter does about 30 hours a week in the gym.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So, I mean, you never balance it. Like, people are always like, how do you balance it? How do you, it's like some weeks you're more mom, some weeks you're more, some weeks my kids, and thankfully I'm out of the stage that you're in, Tchaiko, because I mean, I was in that phase, and I remember working on the Monique show with a new baby, dropping her off every morning, having to come back, having, you know, you're trying to breastfeed, you're trying to pump milk, you're trying to go back, you're trying to store milk, and it's a lot. And I think we beat ourselves up with trying to say we have a perfect balance of it, because we don't. And I was going to tell you earlier when you were like, I'm sorry with the baby, like, there's no apologies. Like, why are we apologizing for life? Like, this is what it is. And it's important that we see that this is what it is, because the shit isn't easy. The shit is never balanced. We just, again, it's an hourly figure it out. Work with the baby goes down, put the notes up on the board, write a little bit, come back to the baby. Yeah. My daughter's at home right now taking a practice assessment test for the Iowa test next week, but I'm not there, so I know she's not doing it. My 16-year-old is watching her. She's not doing that. I guarantee you when I get home, nothing will have been done. And it's kind of like, oh, well.
I remember those days of not doing anything. You remember not doing
We beat ourselves up trying to be everything to everyone all the time. And we have to stop doing it. We have to.
Yeah.
So I'm working, the new project I'm working on is a fantasy. And so it's actually been, I was just like filling out a grant and writing about how my practice, my filmmaking practice has changed since I've become a mother. And it's, I'm actually really into it. I write for like maybe 2 hours a day. And then, and I have an arrangement with dad that he watches the baby so I can write. And then at night after he goes down, I'll either write, but if I'm too tired, because I know that affects breast milk production, then I won't push myself. And so my practice has changed to like doing little chunks at a time, but then also working in fantasy. I've been super inspired by just all the, to me, magical ways in which I'm seeing the world in addition to how I saw it before through the baby's eyes. Like thinking about how when a baby, you know, there's so much that we take for granted, like being able to see stuff in 2D, 3D, being able to like understand how far away things are. They go through these developmental stages where all of a sudden it's almost like they're tripping on like shrooms or LSD. Like the whole world becomes like this intense place for them. They get overwhelmed, they get miserable, they're tired, but it's part of like them developing and to me moving from like being part of the spirit world into this dimension. And so I'm just very influenced. I'm very influenced by thinking about that, by like talking to my baby, listening to him, like whatever comes to me via his like making noises or, you know, playing with him, dancing with him. It's given me a real push more so. Well, I've been trying to get pregnant for I don't know, I think it's like 3 or 4 years before he actually came, while I was finishing Solace. And for me, I feel very much that the desire to have a baby has also cemented my desire to like return to indigenous Africanized sort of storytelling. And so, you know, in those modes, again, I feel like my dreams, my nightmares, my postpartum anxiety, like all of that is like shaping this new thing that I'm working on. And yeah. Yes. He's learned how to do this now. He doesn't know means no, but he walks around doing this.
Yeah, I can say that definitely having a child changes a lot. And for me, I can relate to that in that I think just knowing I created something outside of myself that's living and breathing is like a whole other thing. So appreciating that, and that itself to me is like kind of spooky and eerie that you made this person that's like, you know, and that's like, oh, like this whole fantasy piece. I think Michael J. Fox once said that twins are like some spiritual demons, like how you have two of the same thing running around the earth. So I'm like, who is he and why is he here? Because he does these things that, you know, I'm like, why, where did it come from? Because he's by himself. So thank you both just for being here and present and being open to talk about that process of being a mom and being a working mom in this industry that doesn't always care that you have a child. But I always say, I am a creative life, leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it gets better over time as far as us not only just forgiving ourselves, but also
yes,
being able to be like, oh, like, yes, let's accommodate or adapt to.
Right.
I did a general meeting once, breastfeeding. I didn't get the job, but it felt really good. It felt really empowered to decide to like pop out my tit and start breastfeeding the baby. I think the baby was like maybe like 5 months at the time. Mm-hmm. And it was a meeting of all the Zoom had all women, and it felt really comfortable and really good. Yeah.
Nice. That's like your drop the mic moment. You're just like, what?
So next topic, like breastfeeding moms movies. So I get into like, you know, why we are here, ladies, to talk about some films and movies and just really discuss what's available to Black people when it comes to filmmaking and what's not. Like that's another thing. When Kat, when I saw her post this and I was like, wow, and I talked to her, it's like there's so many things we do as Black people in films and there's so many things we don't do. And we just want to take a look at both of those things and talk about why not, and if how can we make those changes. So this week was I think nice, a robust selection.
It was a good week. I think it was probably the least difficult of the weeks. The week one I just kind of I went all out there, but it's funny, I met Tchaiko through, you posted a trailer to your fantasy short, Sita or Sita?
Sita.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, amazing, you know, and it's great to hear that you're doing fantasy. So I'm like, great, we can add more, you know, fantasy by Black filmmakers into the fold, because, you know, that was a hard one. Our guest last week, Jennifer, was like, yeah, I'm gonna give us The Matrix. I'm reclaiming The Matrix. That's ours. That's right. Okay. But for this week, are there any movies that, you know, stuck out to you? Like, Cass, I know that I think that you do a lot of different things. Like there's romance movies that you have done and are working on, right?
Yeah.
But I guess, like, are there any other films that have stuck out to you as far as this year, like that for this week, that people should be aware of? Like, okay, yeah, you haven't heard about this.
Right. I think the ones that you have heard. I mean, I did watch Malcolm and Marie. I don't think it came out this week. I am in the PGA, so I get movies ahead of time. So then I've seen them, but I think that one came out like week before last. It's really, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Judas and the Black Messiah. Which came
definitely. Mm-hmm.
That definitely, I mean, Lakeith's performance was amazing. I think he's just a multi-talented dude.
Yeah, he's insane.
Yeah, he's definitely insane. What else came out? Like, I don't know if it came out this week.
Or even like, what's a family movie that you've done? Like some of this stuff is like a black.
What's a family movie that I've done? Oh my God.
In the holiday movies, right?
Well, I mean, 'Twas the Chaos Before Christmas was a holiday movie. That was a family movie that did like super, super, super well. It was nominated for Image Award. And it came out again on Christmas, like it was last Christmas, but they reran it again this Christmas because I started getting a lot of other stuff. So I could definitely say that. Open, which is not a family movie, but a relationship love movie, is now on BET Plus. They recently bought it, so you can catch that on BET Plus as of like the top of the year. And so those are probably my two most recent movies that are not mine. I mean, that are mine, that are out. Like all of mine you can see on Amazon. I've got tons of movies on Amazon right now, about 4 or 5 of them that were either bought or sold that used to be on TV. Digital Lives Matter, which is a funny movie with DC Young Fly, which we released, but now is on Amazon, and now he's blowing up, so it's getting a whole new life of its own with a bunch of social media stuff.
Would that be more social justice? The one with him, Digital Lives Matter.
It was basically about digital lives and about having a conscience, like these influencers being able to have a conscience and realizing that their followers are real people. So and Terry was actually Terry's featured directorial debut. So that's out now too. So I got a few things out.
It's funny, like thinking about social justice, like usually we go straight for like race relations or like civil rights or something, but to your with what you're saying, it's like not just that, it's like it literally social, like it's
social. Yeah, I mean the thing is people, and it deals with bullying, and it deals with a lot of topics that the younger like the millennials are dealing with, because they do look at these fans as numbers, not as real people. So you feel like you can say anything and talk to them any kind of way, and we're becoming so disconnected from human nature and humans, like just feelings and emotions, because everything is a number, something digital. It's disconnecting us from feelings and people. So that's what the crux of the film is about. And he loses all of his followers and has to figure out how to get them back, but he has to get them back by getting in touch with them. So,
gotcha.
So it's not romance, but it's definitely relationship, situationship, your relationship with your fans.
Yeah, I feel like it's romance, but it's really just any kind of love story. It could be it could be a platonic love story. It could be a romantic love story. It could be.
Yes, we talked about that last week.
Yeah,
romance isn't just sexual; it's other things too.
Yeah, absolutely.
The spiritual. Tchaiko, what about you? Like what films might have, like to you, made by Black filmmakers have like stuck out, like with some of the stuff that was addressed at with the challenge this week?
I think about Giverny Document by Jatavia Gary. It's an experimental documentary, and to me it feels like this intense love letter to dark-skinned Black girls, where she's got clips from Nina Simone performing, I think at the Monterey Jazz Festival, with scenes of her at the gardens, what is the name of I'm like forgetting now, I have motherhood brain, but like these French gardens when she was doing a residency, intercut with like archival footage that she paints on, that she like scratches and etches on. And it's it really is this ecstatic experience when you watch it, where you feel like the interior landscape of Black girls, but particularly dark-skinned Black girls, is being rendered on film. And I always cite that one when people ask me about films, because for me, so much of the time when I watch films that are supposed to be about racial justice, they feel like they're very much focused on the way in which Black men experience racial violence. And there's very often Black women, our experiences are erased. There's Through the Night, which is a documentary on childcare in New York by Loira Limbal. There is, this is on Netflix, so people can see this pretty easily, is, what is the Latasha Harlins documentary by Sophia called, one second, I'm having a brain fart. Latasha Harlins. Do you guys know which one I'm talking about?
I do not.
Nope.
Oh my gosh, A Love Song for Latasha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
when you said it. Oh yes, that's it.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
It's, I mean, that's so sad. Like it is the most beautiful, beautiful, again, like rendering of Black girlhood in a way that is not exploiting our bodies, like, you know, violent images of our bodies, but like really showing who Latasha was as a friend, as a daughter, as a person of the community. It's like absolutely stunning. So I tend to be drawn to, you know, things around social justice. I tend to be drawn to like films made by Black women who particularly are interested in creating a different cinematic language. So not just having like representation being the focus of like, oh, I'm gonna make a film, but we'll put a Black person in it. Or, oh, let's do a film about police brutality. I find for me, a lot of the police brutality, or sometimes, a lot of times the prison documentaries or the prison movies feel very, I don't know, it just kind of makes me feel like it's a space of like co-opting social justice movements for something that feels trendy right now, as opposed to, I don't know, as opposed to really using the cinematic form. And I haven't seen all of them, but I tend to just like the ones where like the filmmakers are really thinking about how to like disrupt the Western ways of making films to show like our freedom. Romance, I'm not a big romance person, but I really, like I really did love, I just watched this the other day to prep for a pitch. There's a Kevin Hart and, oh my God, what is the name of that movie? About Last Night.
Oh, with Michael Ealy and Joy Bryant.
Yeah, my favorite is Kevin Hart and Regina
Hall. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with her. She's so funny. I love her so much. And I just thought it was hilarious. And let's see what else. Family, don't watch a ton of family movies either.
I don't either. It's hard.
I just find there's a family movie everybody really loved that wasn't, I don't know. I tend to like darker things. So it's like, I like The Dark Crystal, or like the 80s movies, like Never Ending Story or Labyrinth. I feel like the movies that are made now are sort of like saccharine. They like have this like just sweet without any of the like emotional oomph that I feel like the 80s or the 70s had when they're making kids movies. Like if you watch Annie's pretty like, Annie's got some dark, serious stuff in it.
Dark.
Yeah. And to tell you the truth,
I mean, think about Annie, think about Oliver, think about all of them, like they were dark.
Even the Charlie and the old Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, just rewatching that too. Yes. And the thing is like kids, I don't know, maybe you guys can when I remember growing up as a kid, things weren't all just sweet. Like there were, anyway, I'm kind of like not as into the like new stuff because it just feels like it's Disneyfied.
It would be interesting to see your take on a family movie, given your given your style and given your influences. It might be like pretty cool.
I totally want to do that.
Like, what can my son watch that also shows him the harsh realities of the world?
It's crazy. Even cartoons were like that. But did you guys see? Have you guys seen the 40-year-old version?
Oh, Robin's movie is amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Romance and comedy. I feel like that could be counted as a romance.
Yeah, it's a romance, but then kind of comedy, but then kind of self-awareness.
Yeah,
like it was a really interesting. I really liked it. That was.
I think we should count that under social justice too, because she's critiquing the structures that are like super racist and sexist. Of which, you know, art is made, and I do think so much of how we understand the world comes through culture. And so examining, you know, the sort of fuckery of white supremacist culture, I think should also be counted as social justice.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it felt like there was the romance, like the actual romance, and then also the love story of her relationship with hip hop.
Theater. So. Oh yeah, hip hop and theater. Yeah.
It hit a lot. It was brilliantly done too. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Rod is brilliant. She has a music video that she made before about hotep thing. Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
So funny. It's so funny. Queer. Are we doing TV shows or just movies?
Just movies. Like, and we don't. there's like a bonus thing, like if people wanted to, they can find a TV pilot with like just a show in general by a Black creator. Very easy to find, you know, but you know, it's just feature films, and then with like the little options of like, okay,
it made for TV movie also. It just had to be feature length.
Yeah. And when I think of LGBTQ, you know, I'm like, it was funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who's an author. Like we were texting and we were like, where are the movies with Black women who are in relationships with other Black women? Because so much of the time, the LGBTQ movies, it's always like interracial relationships that I find quite disturbing.
That Pariah count? Pariah was like,
but Pariah is so old. It's like, so you can say Pariah, and then after Pariah is what? I feel like there was maybe one other one, and I'm not remembering the name, but the other ones, it's like a lot of times, you know,
and a lot of times they aren't made by us. Like they're not. We're a Black character in the movie, but the movie is not a movie from our lens.
I'm trying to think of queer filmmakers that I know who might be doing love stories. I am not able to think of.
That's interesting.
Can't think now. TV, there's so much more opportunity in TV for, you know, marginalized filmmakers to work that I feel like there might, but even in TV with all the Netflix stuff, they tend to like really go for like colorist and interracial renditions of queer.
And they do because they want them, of course, here's the whole, which is another whole story for another day, that whole international appeal. If you, and I've sold and pitched to Netflix, and they definitely want an international base. So if it's too swayed one way or the other, you're going to have it's a hard sell.
I'm sure they don't care if it's too swayed in the white way. It's when it's too swayed.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, that's because that's international. That's everywhere. They feel like that's everywhere. But even that can sell. And they're doing a huge African movement now, if you noticed on Netflix. And I kind of know the behind the scenes of that, but I can't get into it. But they're doing a huge African movement where you see there's lots of African movies that are now distributed through Africa Netflix on Netflix now. But those stories are, because of that diaspora, those stories are very narrow. You'll see a lot of romance, a lot of this, but you won't see the wide topics discussed, especially when you speak of anything in the LGBTQ space. Because again, there's that stigma. So it's really interesting that you do say that, because I can't think of any. I mean, you've got your queer filmmakers that, like you said, they do TV, and we kind of know them. And then I know some that are, but they don't make content for their, I don't know how to say their people, because that's wrong, but they don't make content in that space. Like there are women and men in that LGBTQI area, but they just make regular content because, again, they're trying to sell the content. I think you get that fine line of, how far do I go? Do I just go commercial so I can sell it? Or do I do something that is for my community that I really know and I want to make an art house film or whatever kind of film? And I think that's a huge thing that plagues us in our Black community, because we don't get the sales. We don't get to always tell our niche margin of our stories. And we go for the sale as opposed to going for something that we're very passionate about.
Yeah, which is,
I want to push back on that. There are lots of Black filmmakers that don't do that. I think it's also, to me, as somebody who is more interested in the like less mainstream stuff, I think really about the audience also deciding to support the filmmakers that don't do that, because there are a ton of filmmakers that are making things that are not quote unquote commercial. But it's just like, look, in our group, nobody here has watched Latasha Harlan's, and that's on Netflix, and that has an Academy. It's like nominated for an Academy, and has a lot of marketing. Nobody in this group had watched Jivani Document, and that has been had got several awards. So I think, you know, there's like structurally like issues that prevent funding, but then also, I don't know, we have to watch our stuff more and sort of maybe not say that we don't do this, but just say that we need to find.
And that's what I think, and that leads to why thank you. So that leads to why we're doing this challenge. So it's like one thing Kat and I, when we first met to talk about like what we're going to do and how we can make her idea really blossom, is that we want people to go out and try to find these films. Like, wow, I know this existed. Like I wrote down 3 films as mentioned. And for us, it's about exposing people. I think one of our participants watched all the films that popped up that she had not seen.
And so, I forgot one. Nigela's film Jin is a love story, a Black Muslim.
Oh, Jin.
I know Chandra worked on that.
Oh, that I know.
Yes.
How do you know them? But that's the thing. Like even
Black Film Festival. You have to go to the Black Film You have to go to the Black Film Festivals. Follow the Black film and art curators who are interested specifically in those kinds of things. So if people go, you know, folks will spend money going to Sundance, but if folks spent money to go to Philly for, you know, before COVID, at Black Star Film Festival, Maori and her team, they do an amazing job of diasporic curation. And that's where I've met and learned about all these filmmakers that have like really, after making Solace, has really solidified and also shifted and educated me on that's how I learned about Losing Ground, a film that was made you know, in the 80s. That's how I learned about there's so many films that I'm like, as I'm decolonizing my like filmmaking brain, I learned through other filmmakers at like from Black Star Film Festival. And then I follow, so it's like if you follow Jatavia Gary on Twitter, she's often like, she's super fiery about her critique on films and will post stuff about films. She like, I think posted the murder of Fred Hampton in response to the assassination. She posted the documentary, The Murder of the Assassination of Fred Hampton, in response to Judas and the Black Messiah, right, in order to offer the Twitterverse like a different perspective. Right. If you follow if you follow Sophia, who did Love Story for Latasha, same thing. There is Farron Humes, who made this film called Liberty, a short, oh my God, I'm messing up everyone's film names. Yeah, I think it's called Liberty, short film that I also discovered through Black Star. They're there, but we have to really, instead of only thinking about Ava, you know, who I'm so grateful that she gave me an opportunity for directing on TV, but instead of only doing sort of what Hollywood and whiteness wants us to do, which is like focusing on the few of us.
Right.
It's like, let's look for like, you know, so it's good that you guys are doing that. And I'm glad people went and watched. There's an Instagram, there's a Twitter account called Subtlecore, which has a lot of Black films that are, you know, I don't know, I guess the Black version of Subtlecore.
There's one. Tender is.
By Felicia Rashad. Yes. I knew it was another one.
Yeah, there are many. To your point, you are correct. I find when I talk and I speak on panels and I talk, people just aren't aware. People aren't aware. They don't know where to go look. The like you said, the Hollywood, the source, the engine isn't behind it. Right. So therefore, most people don't go to film festivals. I mean, we're the anomaly. Obviously, we're in the business. We go, we attend the different film festivals. How do we get it out? Aside from platforms like this, which again, I applaud you guys, we get these amazing filmmakers out to the mainstream, because if not, they get lost in the Netflix of the world. Like I watch a lot of interesting things. If I see it's by Black, oh, let me watch it, let me tune in. But I'm like literally having to go through and seek and find and look because they aren't on the front page.
Yeah, I mean, even back to like creating the challenge and everything and going like, okay, can I find these people? Like it took like some digging to go like, okay, where are they?
That's a super researcher.
And the average person isn't doing that.
Well, as a shortcut, literally, for people who are curating this, as a shortcut, literally go to Black Star Film Festival. Because Sundance started this year. Sundance took so many of the films that were presented at Black Star and screened them at Sundance, which I noticed was like new. Black Star Film Festival, New Orleans Film Festival, they have online. So it's not even like that, it won't take that much, but literally just look at the films in the past. Oh, there's another film by a woman called Shatara Ford called Test Pattern, about a Black woman, and she was raped, took a drug, I forget what the drug is called. She was like mollied, anyway, it's about like this woman trying to figure out, I think it's set in Texas, like how to get the test kit, the rape test kit. And that's by a Black woman. The story is an interracial like romance story, but it's, you know, we don't often see Black women's experience, you know, Me Too experiences, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
On the Record, the documentary on HBO, Social Justice, about the woman that accused Russell Simmons.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
But yeah, like literally just go to Black Star Film Festival. They have it, and just, I think it's been on for 10 years. You literally can go back and you will find all the films that I've just mentioned and more. New Orleans Film Festival does a great job. It's a quote unquote mainstream film festival, but it like I call them white film festivals. It does a great job of programming Black films, I think. Indie Memphis, Miriam Bale is the programmer who does the Black Creators Forum. And again, if you look at what she's programmed, you'll also, Numa Perrier's film, I think that's social justice as well. What is it called?
Jezebel.
Yeah, Jezebel, because it's showing, I think sex work is something that we don't talk about that much in the Black community. That is absolutely essential to talk about and listen to sex workers, and should be part of any sort of social justice cinematic movement or discussions. But like all of those movies, they're all Black Star. They're all like Miriam Bale. So the next challenge, literally, y'all can just go to those film festivals and mine them. And you'll have so much there. And so many of our films are on Amazon, you know, even without getting like theatrical distribution, so many of the films you can find. And filmmakers, we want people to watch our films. So literally, you also can email the filmmakers and see if they'll send you a link if they haven't had digital distribution. That's what a lot of educators do. I've had like my friend who is a professor, she does film courses, and she as an academic, she seeks out these films and plays them for her students. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's sorry. Oh my gosh, why? Yes, that's a great idea, and like I'll definitely hit them up. I'm from Philly, so I should know these. I should know Black Star.
You don't know Black Star Film Festival?
I do know Black Star.
Okay.
The relationship is not there yet, but coming soon. But you know, like as far as this, the challenge, what I mean by finding them, the truth is that, as you said, these movies exist. It's just a matter of finding where they are, and why is it so hard to find them? You know?
I think we can't control how Hollywood, like who Hollywood decides to anoint. But what we can control when we're talking about these films is how we speak about it. So it's like, what if we shifted the language to sort of in like a parallel to, you're doing this challenge of like that's like a fun way of people like finding these things. Like let's talk about like that they're out there and let's go get them, and not so much that they're not there or like why aren't they there, but that they are there, and like let's find fun ways to like amplify them. But I think it's really important for us to shift our language. So much of the time in Hollywood, like literally it's so frustrating because all people will talk about is like how Hollywood doesn't do X, Y, or Z, as opposed to like my friend Adrienne Marie Brown has this statement like attention liberation. It's like whatever we focus on grows. Like what if we like shift the language to focus on, and we amplify, don't wait for Hollywood or question why. We know why Hollywood isn't, you know, it's kind of like decades old response of like why Hollywood doesn't, but yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I
think that's
you're getting no arguments from me.
We all agree. I think it's just and part of what this is also is to start the conversation and push us to do just that, to change the narrative and to shift how we speak about it. So and we're a little over our time, but it's been an awesome conversation. We didn't want to end without giving you both a chance to share what you're working on, what you have going on. Just really thanking you both for being here on this Sunday afternoon.
How can people find you on the social medias? Drop your tags, drop your websites.
I'll it's at Tchaiko. It's just my first name everywhere. Facebook, which I don't go on very much. Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, actually,
Cool. You got a website.
At Cass Sigers. That's
easy.
pretty
Cass
much everywhere. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This was an amazing conversation, and we'll definitely hit up Black Star and be like, yo, what can we do?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And I love the pushback. Thank you for that. Cause I get jaded, man, in this crazy business that I'm in.
You seem like you've been working a lot. And
I've been working a lot.
Side, so it's,
I'm working on both sides and grooming new filmmakers, but I love the narrative because that's what I want to preach to my babies. I have a lot of new filmmakers, and not to get them so jaded. Sometimes it's hard, because I do deal with networks and studios all day. You know what I mean? And I don't get to make some of the things I want to make because I'm over here making content so that I can then be able to teach others, so I get it. So I love that.
I think that's important. Thank you for giving back and doing that work.
Well, just really quickly before we jump
Make
off.
a gymnastics movie, please. I love gymnastics.
Oh my God, I'm trying. I'm actually super, super close to possibly selling a gymnastics show. So it's not a movie, but it's a show that will focus our babies with our diverse gymnasts. So
love it.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Go Brooklyn's mom. But really quick before you both leave, we do give out prizes every week, and we have Miss Murray is actually our winner this week, and so we want to make sure she knows that, hey, congratulations. We have an ICANN Productions swag pack as well as a subscription to All Black for 6 months. So thank you for participating. So thank you, ladies, again. We are so grateful for your time and your expertise. This will be available on Facebook Live for future reference to watch. And we'll also post all those films that were mentioned and website so you guys can watch them later. Anything else, Miss Street, before we hang?
Wait, did you say Miss Murray? Because I think I saw Demita Satchel,
Satchel, Demita Satchel, I'm sorry. That's her mom, with the full disclosure. But she's been killing it all week. So she gets the prize. But if you too can win a prize if you participate. So please jump in our last week of the month of February. We have a great time, and just really, I've learned a lot. Got a lot of movies to watch.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Have a great Sunday.
Congratulations on your son and just being a mommy and love on him and
I'll DM you for advice.
You're welcome. You're welcome to do that. I will give you all of it, as crazy as it may be. I will gladly give it to you.
Black mamas.
That's right. We rock. All right. Well, thank you, ladies. Enjoy yourself.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Happy Sunday.
Thanks.
Bye.